Hey guys! So first of all, I just want to thank you all so much for all the lovely support I've gotten for the past few videos, which have been all about my suicide attempt. It's been amazing to hear how some people have coped after their own attempt, how it's either inspired them or basically just some lovely wishes of good luck and health to me. So thank you very much. And I cannot believe that the Sprinkle of Courage group on Facebook now has over 500 likes, and that is just amazing. It seems to have blown up lately. I just want to thank everybody for the amazing support lately and how great it's been to talk to some people about how they're doing and to see the group grow from what it used to be. So thank you very, very much. Today's video is sort of how you pick up the pieces of your life when you find out you have a mental illness. The way I sort of describe what happens when you find out you have a mental illness is sort of like a huge bomb goes off in your life, and everything you knew, everything you knew about yourself, everything you are seems to get burnt and broken and left all over the place, and you're sort of left in this huge mess, having no clue where to start to pick up everything. And that is sort of exactly what it's like when you find out you have a mental illness. You sort of, everything you knew about yourself gets completely blown away and replaced with all this self-doubt and all a mixture of negative stuff, and you're left completely alone, not knowing how to start to pick up the pieces and how to carry on with your life. And it is incredibly hard. One of the first things you sort of have to deal with when you have a mental illness is you have to understand that you're never ever going to be the same person you were before. Yeah, you might have some traits from the person you are, but a huge chunk of you is completely changed and replaced with the mental illness. I never used to want to be alone. I loved being around my family and friends. I used to laugh all the time. I was sarcastic. I made jokes. But now all I want to do is be alone. I don't talk unless I have to. I cry a lot. I self-harm. I've become a very negative and a lonely person, and it was the complete opposite to what I was. When you start learning to deal with your mental illness, it's like learning to walk from when you're a baby. You have to deal with the small things first before you deal with the huge things like running. Before you can run, you have to walk. You have to deal with who you are now with this mental illness. You have to work out how you fit in with your family and friends, and how you fit in with yourself now that a lot of you have changed. And I found that incredibly hard, because I didn't understand it at all. You're sort of left, it's like you've been taken away and placed in this huge field with miles and miles of grass and no way to get home, and you just feel completely alone and lost, and nobody's there to help you. And it's a very scary thing. But to be honest, it makes you a hell of a lot stronger, because you fight it alone. Yeah, people can help you, but it's you're the only one that can fight this. You're the only one that knows how to. When, as I said, the bomb sort of goes off in your life, everything you know sort of gets broken up. Especially dreams. You dream from when you're very young. You dream about what your future's going to be, and when you're in your teenage years, you sort of plan it. You plan if you want to go to uni or college, what job you want to be when you grow up, and a lot of that changes. Like for me, my whole life I've wanted to work with kids. I wanted to either be a primary school teacher or like a nursery or a playgroup. But now the idea of that absolutely terrifies me, because I could never be around that many people. I could never do that. I could never take on so much responsibility because stress is a huge trigger for me. Dreams get broken when the bomb sort of goes off in your life. All the dreams you've had when you were young or in your teenage years sort of get broken and burnt up, and you have to find new dreams. But it's incredibly hard because, especially if you're suicidal, you don't think about the future, you think about what you're going to do to end your life. And with me, that's the exact same. I can't plan into the future because when I think about what I have to do even next week, I start getting anxiety. I hate the idea. It's too much for me to plan over into next week. I go day by day. I take it day by day. I get through a day, great. The next day. And it's incredibly hard when you're like that to see what you're going to do in the future. And it's really hard, especially if you're like a teenage years or young adult and you see all your friends being really successful and doing what they've dreamed of their whole life, and you're sort of stuck in one place having no idea who you are, what you're going to do, and everybody around you seems to have everything figured out, and it's incredibly hard to deal with that. When you have a mental illness, you cannot do it alone. Yeah, you fight it. The only one that can really fight it is you, but it takes a village to sort of get you through it and get you ready to take on it. Especially, like, for me, my mum is sort of my carer. She makes sure that I eat. She makes sure I get to my therapy appointment. She makes sure, if I self-harm too hard, she'll make sure that everything's okay. She's an absolute star, and she's amazing in that way. I get so wrapped up in my illness that I can stare at a wall for hours and lose complete track of time. 1 minute it'll be 12 o'clock and the next I've just stared at a wall and it'll feel like minutes. And the next thing I know, it's like 4 o'clock and I've lost 4 hours. But to me, it doesn't matter. The one thing about pain is that it demands to be felt. You can't run away from pain. And even when you try to sort of end your life, and either when you don't succeed or you stop yourself, you can't run away from life either. Life is there no matter how hard you try to escape it. It's always gonna catch up to you and beat you. And I heard this saying the other day, and it really sort of made me think, and maybe it'll make you think too. It says, you can't run away from your life. It's yours, it's precious, you just need to claim it. And I think that's amazing because life is incredibly hard. Even for a person with no mental illness, it's incredibly hard. There are challenges that you have to overcome. There is heartache, there is loss. But with a mental illness, it becomes very, very painful and extremely hard to even think about getting out of bed that day. But if you decide to live and claim your life, then you're in charge of it. You decide what's going to happen. You decide if it's going to beat you. Some days I will hate the idea of even leaving my bedroom, but I have to do it because if I don't do it, there is no point in me being alive. I have to get out of bed. I have to fight, because if not, what good is me staying all day in bed just staring at the ceiling and feeling sorry for myself? I have to fight against myself and I have to claim my life in order to have a life. Family and friends often find it hard to be around people with mental illness because they don't know how to deal with it. They don't know what you're feeling. They don't know why you self-harm, why you're suicidal, why you're so depressed, why you cry. They have no idea why. But you don't have to. They don't have to understand the feeling. You don't have to walk in someone else's shoes to know how they feel. Sometimes all you have to do is just sit beside them. All you need sometimes is to know that someone's in your corner. that someone is sat right beside you, helping you and wanting you to be alive, wanting you to get better, wanting you to live. And that's enough. My suicide attempt really shook me up. And even today, as you've seen in the past few videos, especially since I've done that video, has knocked me back several steps to the fact that I'm back self-harming, I'm back with the rubber band, I'm back to sort of being anxious to leave my house again. But I haven't given up, and I won't give up, because I can't. I have too many people counting on me to fight this. I have my family, I have my friends, and I also owe it to this group that we need to sort of stand together and prove that, yeah, mental illness sucks and it's hard and it's painful and it's one of the most horriblest things you could ever have. But that doesn't mean it wins. It doesn't mean it claims your life. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.